My daughter is joining the company, so I need you to quit. Today is your last day." On the morning of the 20th, the boss suddenly told me I was fired. I was shocked and didn't know how to respond. The 20th was the day we paid our suppliers. Some payments were made through bank transfers for longtime suppliers, but I also visited a few in person. "You can go home now. I'm giving you the day off. Leave quickly," the boss said. He pushed me out of the office, and the door slammed shut in front of me. I didn't even know where to begin arguing. My name is Sarah. I started working at this family-owned construction company right after high school and had worked there for 10 years, until today. The company had about 20 employees, and when the current chairman was the boss, the atmosphere was great. It was an easy place to work. The chairman, now retired, used to work closely with the younger employees, and his wife, Laura, would come in every day to help with different tasks until he got sick. Their daughter, Emma, was skilled in both field and office work. Her husband, Daniel, was the site manager and trusted by the employees. Even though they were the founding family, they never acted like they were better than anyone else. It would have been nice if things had stayed that way, but life wasn't kind. At the end of last year, the chairman was diagnosed with cancer during the company's health checkup. He decided to retire and made Daniel the new boss. Everyone, including me, agreed. We all thought the chairman should focus on getting better and wished him good health. But then, out of nowhere, the chairman's oldest son, Jack, showed up with his family. I had no idea where he came from. It turns out the chairman had another child besides Emma. Jack had been disowned 30 years ago, and I never knew about it. According to the older employees, Jack was trouble as a teenager and often had run-ins with the police. Whenever he caused trouble, the chairman and Laura would go and apologize. After dropping out of high school, he got involved in scams, which made the chairman decide to cut ties with him. Even though Jack had been out of contact for a long time, he showed up one day, asking his father for forgiveness. I was shocked to see this in our small company, where the boss's office and the clerical room were right next to each other. Jack wanted to reconcile and work at the company, but I wasn't sure if he was sincere. After being disowned, "I'm sorry, but I ask you all to give Jack another chance," the chairman said, pleading with everyone. Emma and the older employees knew Jack's history, so they weren't sure, but they couldn't refuse the chairman's request either. So, Jack and his family moved into the chairman's house, and Jack became an employee while his wife took on household duties. I saw their daughter once when she visited the office. She seemed like a college student. The chairman thought Jack had changed after going through tough times. Laura was thrilled Jack was back, and she talked about rebuilding the company together. But soon, problems started. Jack insisted, "I'm the oldest son, so I should be the next boss." This caused tension between Jack and Emma, and Daniel. Jack pretended to work hard in front of the chairman, but he did very little. He often made rude comments like, "Physical labor is for the workers. You're all just ants. Work quietly." Unsurprisingly, he quickly became unpopular. Some younger employees even went directly to the chairman, saying, "We can't work with him." But the chairman and Laura begged everyone, saying, "We'll talk to Jack. Please try to be patient." Then, the chairman's cancer worsened, and he was hospitalized. 3 months ago, Jack declared, "I'm the boss now." Despite employees advising the chairman and Laura to stick with the original plan and make Daniel the boss, they chose Jack, their biological son. This made some employees grumble, thinking the chairman and Laura were making decisions based on love for their son or just getting old. The once friendly atmosphere turned tense. As things got worse, Emma and Daniel started running the company from behind the scenes, leaving me to handle all the paperwork by myself. Before, Laura, Emma, and I worked together, but now I worked overtime almost every day. Sometimes, I'd leave so late that it was already the next day. Meanwhile, Jack seemed to think paperwork was easy. He spent most of his days at bars, gambling, or betting on horses. My relationship with the boss worsened over an expense issue. He had been using the company's credit card for personal meals and entertainment. I had been letting it slide, but this time, the bill went too far. Nervously, I handed him the receipt. "I can't approve this expense," I told him. "What? Why not?" he asked angrily. "This is for your wife's special underwear. It's not related to the business, so it can't be a company expense." As expected, the boss turned red with anger. "Don't argue with me. She's the boss's wife. It's only right that she dresses well. This is a valid expense." "No, that's not how it works. Your wife's underwear isn't something the company should pay for," I said, struggling to understand why the boss thought a $4,000 charge for his wife's underwear was okay. Then, he suggested something even stranger. "Then let's make selling special underwear our new business. We can count it as inventory, and it'll be a business expense." The boss seemed proud of his idea, but I was speechless. "We're a construction company," I said slowly. "So what? We'll just tell clients that if they don't buy from us, we'll cancel their contracts. They'll all buy. Easy money, $22,000 for one set. $4,000 for one set, the boss laughed, but I felt sick to my stomach. That's completely unacceptable, it'll ruin our reputation, I snapped, feeling angry. From then on, the boss seemed to target me. Every day, he made my life harder. The situation became so bad that I thought about quitting several times, but I stayed, partly out of loyalty to the chairman, who had always been kind to me, and partly because I knew the team would struggle without me. The truth was, I couldn't afford to suddenly lose my job either, so I decided to stick it out until I could leave on my own terms. But then, without warning, I was fired. If I quit suddenly, it'll cause problems for our clients, I thought to myself. Taking a deep breath, I gathered my courage and confronted the boss. I can't just leave without proper notice and a handover. Even your daughter couldn't handle all this work, and today is the day we need to make the payments, I said quickly, expecting the boss to yell at me. As I expected, his face turned bright red with anger. Shut up, I told you to quit because my daughter is joining the company. Today is your last day. After the payment, let them wait until they come to collect it. There's no need to pay them right away. Excuse me? Isn't it normal to pay for things we've bought? I was shocked, but I explained it calmly, as if speaking to a child. But the boss came back with something so unreasonable that I couldn't believe he was being serious. If that's the case, just tell them we're switching suppliers. Tell them we won't pay this time, so they should just give it to us for free. What? That's not something we can do, is it? I was so stunned I didn't know how to respond. You're completely useless. My daughter has a college degree. She can handle office work easily. She won't question my spending like you do. You just talk and don't do anything. We don't need someone like you here. Leave now, the boss sneered. It was clear he wanted his daughter to take over the office work so he could make his personal expenses seem like business expenses. Oh, is that so? Just remember. I won't regret this, I said firmly. Words seemed pointless now. My patience had run out. I quickly packed up my things and left the company, feeling bad for the clients who would be affected. I called Emma, knowing she and Laura were busy with the chairman, but this was urgent. I explained everything to her and trusted her to handle the rest. Once I left, I suddenly found myself with nothing to do. Being fired without notice was a clear violation of labor laws. If I reported it to the labor office, the company could face serious trouble. Since we were part of a system that helped small businesses with severance pay, I was entitled to both severance and a month's salary. I didn't need to act quickly because I had up to 5 years to apply for it, and the labor office had a 2-year window to file a complaint. With my background in planning, I figured out the steps and timeline I would need for this process, but for now, I decided I could take a break. I had been working nonstop lately, with no time to relax at home. There were many places I wanted to visit, so I decided to take a short trip to the beach for a much-needed break. After enjoying the beach, I checked my phone and found several missed calls, emails, and voicemails. One email from Emma caught my attention. It said, "The payment process went smoothly. Everything is in order." I felt a little relieved. Even though the president had fired me in such an abrupt way, I still felt guilty for leaving in anger. Then, I listened to a voicemail from the company. It was the president, panicking. "Hey, what's going on? They're saying I'm not the real president. Did you know about this? Explain yourself." I chuckled at his sudden realization and kept checking my messages. Among them was one from the chairman, so I quickly headed to the hospital. That evening, I arrived at the hospital room and found Laura and the president already there. As soon as the chairman saw me, he spoke from his bed. "Sarah, I'm so sorry for my foolish son." "Hey, what's going on? I'm not the real president. Explain yourself," Jack shouted arrogantly, clearly not understanding the situation. The chairman quickly silenced him. "Quiet." It turned out that after I called Emma, she immediately told the chairman and Laura. When the chairman heard the news, he contacted Jack, who had been acting as president, and asked him, "Do you really not know what's going on? What's the truth?" I calmly explained to Jack, who was still shouting in confusion. "Jack, you don't have legal authority. Being president is just a title. It's confusing, but in business, the president is a role within the company, and it doesn't carry the legal responsibilities that a representative director does. The representative director is the one legally responsible for the company's actions. It's a more official position that requires specific legal procedures to change." I continued, "You might have been given the title of president, but legally, it's not the same. When you were made president 3 months ago, there was opposition from Emma, Daniel, and other senior employees. That's when I suggested a plan. Jack could be the figurehead president while the chairman remained the legal representative director. I know the legal process as well, so I proposed that if Jack could prove he was fit for the role, we would change the legal status to make him president. If not, we had a backup plan to either remove him or shut down the company and start a new venture with Emma and Daniel in charge." Emma didn't believe Jack could change, but the chairman and Laura continued to support him until he made the mistake of firing me. That's when they finally saw his true character. If you want to lead, you need to learn how to take care of your employees. I've told you this before, the chairman said firmly. Jack responded, it's not a big deal, right? Can't we just fix the paperwork now? No, we can't, the chairman explained. Our company offers stock options to employees, and many of them own shares. Sarah has 10%, so she's a major shareholder. We can't ignore her opinion, and the other shareholders won't support you either. The president's face turned pale as he began to realize how serious the situation was. What, I don't have any shares? He asked in shock. None. I was going to pass my shares to you once you proved yourself as president, the chairman replied. I'm deeply disappointed in you. Did you just want my money, thinking I didn't have much time left? The chairman slumped, looking defeated, and Laura stood silently, clearly upset. Defiantly, the president spoke up. I'm the eldest son. What's wrong with taking what's mine? The company belongs to me. I can't forgive you anymore, the chairman said. I'm the representative director of this company, and I take full responsibility. As a shareholder, I have the right to call a shareholders' meeting and propose your removal. I responded confidently. The president's face turned pale as he realized the seriousness of the situation. You mean I could be fired? He asked, stunned. Dan, you were just a clerk, Jack added. Sophie is right. At this point, no one will back you up. Sophie was the only one who tried to give you a chance, Laura added. Then, Laura turned to me. Sophie, I owe you an apology. I regret causing you trouble because of my love for my son. Please, tell me what you'd like to do. I looked the president in the eye and said, Mr. President, I no longer wish to work under your leadership, so I am resigning immediately. However, I expect to receive my severance pay, 1 month's salary, and all unpaid overtime and holiday pay. As a shareholder, I will also take action through the Labor Office to remove anyone who's harming the company. I spoke calmly, and as I did, the president turned even whiter. I then explained how Emma had been visiting clients and successfully promoting their new business. Many clients had already decided to leave the current company for the new one, and most employees were planning to follow suit. That's impossible. I'll sue you, the president threatened, his voice shaking. But the chairman stepped in firmly. I'm the representative director. You have no authority to do that. The president collapsed to his knees, and I felt a mix of regret, disappointment, and relief. Mr. President, it's unfortunate it had to end like this. If you had changed your approach when you returned, things might have been different. You had plenty of chances to learn and grow, but you wasted them. It's a case of reaping what you sow. In the end, the chairman decided to shut down the company, leaving Jack unemployed. His wife tried selling corrective underwear, but it didn't work out. They faced legal trouble for their aggressive sales tactics and were eventually arrested for being involved in a pyramid scheme. When Emma went back to her parents' house, she found boxes of unsold underwear. As for Jack's daughter, she found a new job elsewhere, but I'm not sure what it was. Now, I'm happily working at Emma and the site manager's new company. I cherish my relationships with others and try to live authentically every day.